We've been in this business of helping companies execute strategy through people for just about 20 years now. And about 4 or 5 years ago, we looked back and said, okay, out of the 150 plus companies that we've worked with, what are some of the best-in-class things that we've seen time and time again that successful leadership teams do? And we found a multiple of themes, but there's 3 that stood out above all else. The first one is the ability to create shared mental models and ultimately make sure that everybody in the organization has a common perspective and a common view of what winning really looks like. And all too often, though, we get lost in language. We've got a vision statement that says everything yet says nothing, right? And it really doesn't have a whole lot of meaning. And it's the job of leaders to define what shared meaning really looks like, what winning looks like, and make sure that people understand the top box of the puzzle, not just the individual pieces. The second one is what we call owning the whole as much as you own your individual piece. In a nutshell, this is about the individual IQ, which with most leadership teams that we work with is very high and they're very capable, but then the collective IQ of the team tends to be a lot lower. But what we found, what the great teams do, they minimize the delta between the individual IQ and capability and the collective IQ. And so great leaders and great leadership teams balance effectively owning the whole and working across and balancing those priorities with their individual and functional and business unit demands. And that's a critical success factor. The third one is ultimately the ability to cultivate aligned behaviors and model those effectively. First responsibility of a leader is to define reality. And part of reality is truth-telling, the ability to call things out the way they are so they can be effectively addressed. Well, what we see in most organizations, truths are more often told in hallways, at the water cooler, and the bathroom, more so than in the boardroom and the executive team meetings. And once again, the great leadership teams have more meaningful conversations, talk about the right issues in the boardroom, and therefore have an ability to address issues faster, to execute faster, and also create a greater sense of authenticity and realness that people see, and it ultimately cascades throughout an organization. So in a nutshell, 3 things that are critical. The first one is create shared meaning. The second one, the ability to own the whole and effectively work east-west. And the third one, the ability to cultivate aligned behaviors, model those behaviors, and create a culture of truth-telling and realism that accelerates execution.